White shirts on the pitch, running fast through the night. Every heart beating loud under floodlit sky bright. So to London stand strong, in the stands they belong. Voices echo like thunder, to the club they sing along. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. King's fire in his eyes, glory's what he seeks. With every goal he flies, rising to new peaks. From the lake to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. From the lane to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. With all our might. With all our might.
Hello, and welcome to THFC Till I Die, your home of Tottenham past, present, and exciting future under Ange Postecoglou, whoever manages this great club of ours. And tonight we are, I've picked a thorny issue. I know I have. I did get a few funny comments in the WhatsApp groups, or the WhatsApp people I'm friends with, and when I sent them the thumbnail, I don't. This is one topic I think I could get a lot of pelters for. But joining me tonight to have my back, hopefully, and defend me, hopefully, or just run away and hide when he thinks that enough is enough, is my mate Boris. How are you, Boris, tonight? I haven't seen you for a while. You haven't been on for a while, but how are you anyway, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Just been enjoying life, really, and yeah, hopefully we get back to winning ways this coming week.
Well, that's it. More about that later. Now, tonight, I was told to watch this podcast about a week ago. And I did watch it last night after I did my stream. I had my dinner and I said, do you know what? It's on my watch list to watch on YouTube. And I keep meaning to watch it and I never get round to watching it. I thought, I normally like watching the overlap anyway. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give it a watch. And what I found was my opinion changing on him. And some of the opinions he brought out last night probably were right. And I think as a fan back then, because he's gone to Arsenal, you think, and we've called them every name under the sun, me included. But was he right to move? Was he right to leave Spurs? And that is the question. Boris, you weren't around then, but you've grown up with it. You've grown up with the So Campbell stuff. Look, players have moved from Tottenham to Arsenal before. It's happened before, and it will happen again. I think Pat Jennings the only one that gets treated rightly between the two. But you watched the podcast as well as I did. What did it come out for you, the podcast? How did he come across for you in the podcast? Did he come across bitter? Or did he come across, do you know what? I'm saying my side of the story, and this is exactly what happened. What did you take from it?
I think it's a bit of both, really. You can tell he's still really bitter about it, or no doubt about it. But the thing is, he's always been like that towards us, no matter what.
Yeah.
I feel like the difference is, like, with Pat Jennings and stuff like that, and when he went to Arsenal from Spurs, it was quite a big time difference compared to what, like a big jump. I'm pretty sure. Did Jennings leave Spurs originally, go to other clubs, then went to Arsenal? If I
No,
remember,
he went straight from Tottenham to Arsenal.
straight from Tottenham to Arsenal. But back then, he won us stuff. He won us a lot. He brought us to like the peaks, what we wanted and stuff like that. And he was a loyal servant to the club, and he was coming towards the end of his career at that point in time because footballers back then, you was a lot younger from what they are now for retirement. But so that's why he gets treated the right way. But I feel another reason, but really with him, it's because he was the boyhood club. I think the difference is though as well with Pat Jennings and Sol Campbell. Boyhood club, Sol Campbell, Spurs Academy, came through it, Spurs prospect, all of that compared to Jennings, whereas Jennings came across from Northern Ireland, didn't he? Was it Northern Ireland or Ireland?
No, Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
I just find exactly, because I think he came through the academy as well, as far as I know he did. So just let me. Yeah, he came from Watford. His youth career was Shamrock Rovers, then Newry Town. Then he spent 1 year, a season at Watford, played 48 times. Then he came to Tottenham in 1964 and played 472 times for Tottenham between 64 and 67. So yeah, so I get what you mean on that one.
Yeah, and then another thing is though, like as well with Campbell, I think another thing what rubs everybody the wrong way, you probably included as well as me, as well as Wayne Bonner, Tequila, Carl, anybody who's ever been a Spurs fan will be like the fact that he always pulls. Do you know, like that interview we did like months ago on AFTV, where he said, where it came out with saying like, is it a colour thing and stuff like that? That basically insinuating that everybody at the club or who supports the club is naturally a racist, even though we've had legends like Ledley King who came through the youth academy. We've had tons of play. Emerson Royale. Yes, we didn't have the best time with him, but he was still a player. What everybody, it was a character what you loved or you hated. Richarlison, Davison Sanchez. You can go on and on. I think that's another reason why a lot of people hate him for the way he portrayed. Like, yes, there has been issues at the club what came out during the interviews and stuff like that about the court cases, stuff like that. What we'll get onto in a bit, but I think he's painted himself in such an unlikable way, and the fact of him saying like he's basically insulting Tottenham fans and Tottenham as a club in any way he possibly can. Like we saw that Google advert at Christmas time, didn't we? Where he literally swapped from the white shirt, from was it the green or white shirt to a red shirt. You could tell what he was insinuating by that.
Nobody's going to look for. I've seen Wayne's comment, and I agree with the comment. He's always going to be Judas. There's no doubt about that. It doesn't matter how much groveling or how much he wants to go about it. He's a dick then, and he's still a dick now. But if you look at it from a footballing point of view, I think he was right in what you're saying, because we weren't ambitious at that time. And when he's coming out and saying players were more interested in going out with models and the latest fashion gear instead of turning up on a Saturday to win us 3 points, say against Manchester United or Liverpool or Chelsea, and they're getting the dressing room go, do you know what, lads, I don't feel up for it today. Do you know, you get his point why he wanted to move. And also you get the point that Alan Sugar probably wasn't the easiest chairman to deal with either. And he didn't have a lot to know about football. So I suppose if you look at it, if you look at all the different pros and cons of it, I think he was, from a footballing side of view, I think he made the right decision to leave Spurs. But how he went about it and how he's gone about it since, I've got no respect for the man whatsoever. But on a footballing point of view, do you think he made the right decision to where Tottenham were then to where Arsenal were then? I think you have to say yeah.
Yeah, he was a key player in part of that invincible side with players like Thierry Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira. Everybody seen what they did with that invincible season. So of course, the only trophy they never won at Arsenal, luckily, was a Champions League. That's the only trophy they never won during that time of Arsenal dominance. So it showed, like, clearly on the footballing side, yeah, he did make the right choice. But I feel like another thing what Rob played the wrong way was I'm pretty sure there was plenty of clubs interested in him, and then he decided to go. I'm pretty sure there was teams like United, Madrid, Barca, Juve, all those types of teams. I think Bayern as well, if I remember correctly, from what I've seen, they were all interested in him, and yet he decided to go to our most hated rivals ever since rivalries have begun with Spurs and Arsenal. He decided to go over to our deepest rivals and stuff like that. Like we've seen what happened with Ashley Cole, how Arsenal fans treat him now when he went to Chelsea, how they treated Fabregas once he moved from Arsenal to United. So he should expect that sort of hate from the Spurs fan base. I'm condoning any racist abuse, what he got, anything like that, anything what he got back then and what he still gets now. There's no place in football for that, but just regular like hate for him for betraying what he says is his boyhood club. Like, but then you get players like Ledley King. Like, yes, Ledley King was
Yeah,
part
but
of the
to be
side,
fair, Boris, I mean, to be fair, Boris, look, he is of every footballer is ambitious.
Oh, of course.
So, they're going to want to win stuff. Wayne puts it here, big up Wayne. He says Campbell will always be Judas. I can't disagree with that. But for a player with ambition, Tottenham isn't the club to be at. Is this a problem? I think this is a problem now. I think this stems back then. It even stems to Tottenham now that there's still players coming out when they leave. Tottenham weren't ambitious enough. They didn't do well in the transfer market. That's why I had to leave. Harry Kane had to leave to go and win trophies. Teddy Sheringham had to leave Spurs to go and win trophies. How many good players have left Tottenham and went on to win stuff at other clubs? And you can call it a Levy not backing the managers, but also you can also say Alan Sugar didn't provide money for the managers either, and he didn't provide the right players. I think this mentality we've had at Tottenham runs a lot deeper than people think it does. I think this mentality of us not being ambitious enough runs right back to the 90s. Now, I supported Tottenham thick and thin through them periods of times. Do you know, it hurt me. Every season we didn't win a trophy, I was so upset. I was hurt. I was devastated. Another year we're not winning the trophy. And then we got to 99. And then we got to the Potch years. And you're looking back and we've missed so many opportunities over the years of being successful, of just buying the right players at the right time. And maybe this So Campbell thing, when he's coming out and saying players were more interested in models and fashion and the latest cars coming out, it doesn't send a good look out to them players back then, does it? That when he says only 3 or 4 players in that dressing room wanted to win, and the rest of them were more interested in the girl they had on their arm. I mean, what does that say about what does it say about the people's ambitions at the club then? Because they're getting the same argument now, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, I feel that's just it's just how unfortunately how a lot of footballers are. Not all, but like there's a large majority of them. What I like that no matter what you go to, like as soon as players move from like their small boyhood clubs and stuff like that, and they land like a big club like Tottenham, unless you're like a boyhood supporter, like somebody like say Harry Kane, Harry Winks, Oliver Skip. And then you have certain like Italian players like Vicario, Udogi, and then players like Van der Ven, Romero, who actually go out and fight and would die for the club.
Don't get me started with Romero. Do not get me started on that fucking idiot. I'm sorry. That fella cares more about playing for his country than he does playing for Spurs. Sorry, Boris, but yeah, that's how it don't. But Romero's gone down in my book. He really has.
But you get my point though. Like a lot of players, you get players what will just come as soon as they end up at like a big club, they end up the personality changes. Just like, oh, I've made it now. I've achieved what a lot of people don't ever achieve in their lives and stuff like that, and they end up stop caring. Like a perfect example. Not saying it's as a Spurs player, but United. Look at Sancho. As soon as Sancho arrived there, got 300k a week and stuff like that. He just didn't care. Like, and and he's not even performed since. Like, he performed well when he went back to Dortmund for last season, but then look at him now. He's at Chelsea. He's not performing, and Chelsea are looking to pay £5 million to United just to cancel the obligation.
Yeah, it is shocking. Oh, Wayne goes on here, big up Wayne. He says, different eras in football in the Premier League. That is true, actually. Levy and Ian have always had the money. Sugar was financially hamstrung to an extent. He was to an extent, Wayne, but I remember back in them days, we were always a mid-table club. And what was it? 2 trophies in the 90s we won. One at the beginning of the 90s and one at the end of the 90s. And so Campbell was our captain, but the way he went about it, but the way the club went about it as well. And he says here, and I'm quoting him here from what he said in the overlap. And he starts off by saying he was asked the question about contracts, and he goes on, going forward, it was 4 years, my contract. So every 4 years, he signed a new 4-year contract. The next 4 years were a difficult moment because I was moving up in the right direction and my contract was winding down. The thing for me was I had a problem in a particular game which lingered on for 15 months. Now, this is the bit that gets me. This is the bit. Is this true, or is this him trying to pull another fast one? So I'm going to read you out what he said, and then I want your opinion on it. Now, I have no reason to doubt him, but he has come out and said things in the past, and they haven't been factually true. And you, me, both know that, Boris. We both know he's come out and said some things which you've alluded to it earlier. And he says, the problem for me was that game, which I do remember, by the way, starting for the game against Derby County away with 2 years left on my contract. The problem was that Colin Calderwood, who was his centre-back partner and who was playing alongside me, was having a Barney all day long in the game with Francisco Barrino, who played for Derby. I didn't know why. I scored the winner. Game finished 1-0. Everyone was happy. I'd gone off the pitch. As I was walking on into our changing room, Colin runs past me and jumps into the Derby changing room looking for Barrino. So everyone jumped in. I said, F him wherever. Let's get back in the changing room. I said it 3 times, and he was captain at that point, by the way. 3 weeks later, David Pleat comes to me and says, I've got a letter saying that someone, a steward from Derby County, has broken their arm or wrist. And I said, what do you mean? I've done nothing. I went into the changing room after the game. 3 weeks later, it goes on and on. The steward who broke his wrist is looking to the press charges. I was thinking, what is going on here? I've done nothing. So it rolls on and on. I've got affidavits. People have come in from me for counter witness, and then I got drafted up there into Derby Police Station. It's a mess. I am then getting fingerprint and my picture taken at the same time, and there is people asking me for autographs. I'm thinking, am I getting arrested for something I've not done? This went on for 15 months. I was thinking why he went on for so long, because I'd done nothing wrong. Just before the case, I had an international lawyer from Tottenham who said there was a snippet, a lord getting bound over. I said, what do you mean getting bound over? Bound over means admit it, pay a fine, and it all goes away. But I said, I wouldn't do it. I live and die by my words. I've not done anything. I've left it. Things go on, and the case is about a month away, and Tottenham say they're pulling out funding. I'm not paying for anything, so I had to pay for anything. I mean, for that bit, what does that tell you? I mean, he's coming up to the last year of his contract. He's saying that it's Tottenham trying to pull a stroke to get him cheaper on his contract. Or do you think, what do you think about all of that? Firstly, from a Tottenham point of view, and then I'll get your opinion. What do you think of it from a Sol Campbell point of view? From a Spurs point of view?
From a Spurs point of view, you've got to think about it. Like, I don't even know how you can really phrase this in Tottenham's way. Like, they probably just saw it as saying, like, oh, you can pay this off, and then it'll go away and stuff like that. But then that'd also be a missing guilt on Campbell's side and stuff like that.
But they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying from what the club would want.
Yeah,
they're probably just wanting to say, oh, oh, just pay it and it'll go away and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
but
know it might.
that's not the question I'm asking, Boris. The question I'm asking was this the club pulling a stroke over a player to get them a cheaper contract, so they wouldn't have to pay him the money he was asking for? That's the question I'm asking.
Uh, I'd say 50-50, really. Like, there's a chance that could have been the main reason why they're doing it, and it could have just been a chance like, oh, we can't be bothered dealing with it. We're just not putting any more funds into it. That could have been.
But
like
if they know the player is innocent, if they know the player didn't do it, which it did come out at the end, the case was dropped a month later, and you know. I just don't get it. Why would you, if you knew a player was innocent, why not stop? Why stop backing him if you know he's innocent? Only if you're going to pull a stroke over his contract.
As I wasn't there and none of us were there.
It doesn't matter if you're there or not, Boris, but you have to bring out an opinion. You have to bring what you think, what you think. You know, just because you weren't around then doesn't mean you don't have an opinion on it.
As I said, I don't believe it was to do with the contract. I feel like they just didn't want to pay for it anymore and stuff like that, and they just wanted him to just accept guilt, even though from what it's come out with, all charges were dropped. So we don't know what happened. We don't know if there was not enough evidence, or we don't know what happened. We don't know if he was paid. We don't know anything about it.
Well, we know he didn't do it. I mean, it does go on. It does go on. I will get to your comment in a minute. It does go on to say, says my lawyer started looking through all the paperwork and couldn't understand how it all gone on for so much long, because someone said you're in front during the incident, another person said you were on the side. It was all over the place, so it had gone on for much too long. 10 days before the case, they dropped out. The case is dropped. In the paperwork, there was an old fax where they sent it to me back in the day. You got faxes back in the day. I saw your name scrubbed out, and then a Derby County player put in there. I was supposed to have done this incident at 10 to 5 on the 10 to 5 in the evening, but on the hospital report, the steward had done it at 10:30 pre-match. He'd done it before. He broke his arm or wrist pre-match before. So he done it. This man done it before the game. So this was again of now. Him knowing that, say, when it was asked if Spurs chiefs knew the steward had suffered injury before, the Campbell added, either the hierarchy did or the lawyers. It was trying to get one over me, so it came out. I signed the crap deal. It was all about the deal. So he's saying it's all about the contract. He said, it goes on to say they wanted to get one over me or have leverage over me. It's like Virgil van Dijk going through his contract situation now, trying to pin something on them now. It's the same thing. Once that happens, the legal incident, I didn't have time for that signing. I didn't have time signing new contract. They literally tried to put me away for no reason. Then we've got a few comments here. We've got Wayne saying, sounds about right for Tottenham. As far as I'm concerned, if the club refused to back players in instance, then the player needs to leave. Big up to Leo. He says, I hate Sol. I don't think nobody likes Sol, but I think what came out of this podcast was more the question, was he right to leave? And then Wayne says, loyalty goes both ways. It does. So after hearing all of that, Wayne, Boris, where are you at it now? I mean, look, he's never going to be liked. He's never going to be forgiven. And nor should he be forgiven. But do you think that was the start of him wanting to leave Tottenham in a way after all of this shenanigans, proving that he didn't even do it and the club just weren't backing him 100%?
Honestly, yeah, I could see, like, with the club not backing him 100% and stuff like that, with him saying, like, oh, the club might have had something to do with it and stuff like that. I don't think that was right of him to say. I agree that the club, of course, should have backed him and stuff like that. Personally, the club should always back the players no matter what. Even if they are losing, the club should still back the players no matter what, because it shows loyalty to the player. And then if they showed enough loyalty to him back then during that case, they might have been able to lower the wages down because they proved their loyalty to him and stuff like that. And then, I would see why. You can see why they pulled out, because they thought, oh, it was a losing battle, just pay the fine and it'd all go away and stuff like that. You can see it from a business point of view and stuff like that.
Why was it a losing battle? Because he didn't do anything.
I know. I'm saying it in a business side. It was a losing It was a losing point when it could have just been paid and it could have all happened. Nothing would have else needed to be done and stuff like that. I know he didn't do it. It's come out by he didn't do it, and all the charges were dropped and stuff like that. I'm just saying, from a business point of view, it could have been paid and it could have gone away easily and stuff like that. But personally, I don't agree that should have happened. I agree that the team should have kept backing him and stuff like that with a lawyer and stuff. But unfortunately, they didn't. So I do agree with the fact of him being it was time for him to move on and stuff like that. But I still just feel like the fact of it being all of this stuff will still be overshadowed for Spurs fans because of the matter of the fact is he decided to go to Arsenal. No matter how bad of what he says has come out of the club, he will always still be the villain no matter what in the story.
I agree with you. For me, I mean, Leo's right. I remember at the time, and Leo's spot on with this, I think, here. I'm not taking his... I just want to get this. I'm not taking his word for gospel. I'm not taking his word. I'm just reading out what was said and reading between the lines as best I can to come to a conclusion why he left Tottenham. Now, I am not taking his word for one iota, Leo. I am not taking his word. I'm not backing him. I'm not saying that he was right. I think he's a snake. He'll always be a snake. He'll be a Judas to me. But I think with this podcast and it coming out, I think it was the right conversation to have. And also you have to put up all the facts with him. Maybe he wanted to stay, and maybe he felt after this whatever happened, of course, we felt, well, the club are not loyal to me. Fuck them. I'm not going to be loyal to them. I know what you're saying. He's a snake. I know he's been caught out before lying and saying things that weren't right. I believe that. And I get what he's getting at, but I don't believe everything he says. So, I get what you're saying, but please believe me, I don't believe everything he says. We've got him. He always had a chip in his shoulder. Yeah, he did. Sugar was shocked. I think Solid's line. I looked at the Sky Sport thing as well, and I was bringing that up. That's part of the other bit I put into this. The Sky Sports thing they did on YouTube about him leaving Arsenal, and it's a totally different story about why Sol Campbell left. There's a totally different story between him, between Alan Sugar, between David Pleat. Have you seen that? What they've put on about that, Boris, on Sky?
Oh yeah, I think it was the interview saying as Leo said and stuff like that. It was about him. He said that he was going to sign a new contract a week before he left and stuff like that. And now he's saying stuff we've always known he contradicts himself and stuff like that. We always know that you can't take anything he says at his words and stuff like that, because Leo should remember this as well when he did that AFTV interview where he said, "Is it a colour thing?" When we've had plenty of fans of colour.
When he said that, Boris, to be fair, and I know you've brought it up twice now. So the second I didn't mention it, but I was thinking about it when you brought it the first time. But the second time, I tell you one thing, I was shocked he said that. Do you know, it was such an easy road to go down. Do you know what I mean? It was poor me. Do you know, look at me, poor me. I'm being attacked because I changed the football club. Poor me. Do you know, it has fuck all to do with your colour. It has to do that you told us, as a Spurs captain and a Spurs player, you were signing a new contract. That's what you said a week before you left. You went on to Sky Sports, I'm going to play for nobody else bar Tottenham. I think that was his exact words. Then a week later, you go and join them not down the road. Now, you can go on to these podcasts and you can go on to say what you want. And I was trying to come on tonight to try a balanced argument or a balanced sort of talk about that, what he said in that podcast. And are people after 20 odd years prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt? But what I'm seeing in the chat is a lot of people are not prepared to give him benefit of the doubt. A lot of people are still angry and hurt with the way he left Tottenham. There's a lot of people. I mean, Leo's not going to be changed.
Yeah.
So I want to look at it from another point of view. I want to get through chat, then I'm going to go take it from another point of view here. Bigger, he left to win things, more money. What is he keep? Exactly, yeah. You're right, Leo. He won't change anyone's minds. He keeps making up different stories. It's true, yeah. He always blames colour. Why didn't he get a manager? Why he didn't get a manager? That's one question I want to ask you, Boris. And I think Leo brings up a very good point actually here. There isn't many black managers in the game. I think that's a shame because I think there's plenty of good ex-players that will become really good managers, by the way. I think the only managers I can remember probably is Paul Ince, him, Judas, who else?
There's two now, Liam. There's two now. I think one's mixed.
Yeah.
Liam Rosenior and Evra. No, and Vieira, sorry. Vieira, the ex-Arsenal player, and Liam Rosenior, ex-Hull City manager, ex-Derby manager. He's now managing
and you got the ex-Man City player as well, Bayern Munich. Company. But why isn't there many black managers in the game? It's a bit lopsided, isn't it? And there's a lot of, I will say, there's a lot of good black players would turn out to be really good black managers, wouldn't there? There's a lot of them that bring a lot to the game. You look at Paul Ince. I think Paul Ince would have been a good manager if he was given half a chance.
Do you think that's what it is? They're just not given a chance and stuff like that because it's just that heavily dominated by managers who are that advanced and stuff like that. But
I don't think so. I think, look, this is my own. I think this racial thing we have within the game has never gone away.
Yeah,
I do think that, and this racial slur that's in our game has to be kicked out one way or the other. If a white man and a black man, but the black man is more, he's more qualified for that manager's jobs. Why shouldn't he not get it? Why shouldn't he not get a job? Why shouldn't, if say two people went for the Man United job, or Tottenham job, right? Or Man United job, say, right? Okay. And there's plenty of coloured managers and players and coaches within the game that would make great managers. I mean, I like this one here. Leo, so everyone knows my views on him. He must really hurt me, but Gaza left and he hurt me, and I still love him. Yeah. Teddy Sheringham left tonight. That really hurt me when Teddy left, but I still love Teddy Sheringham. Robbie Keane. Yeah, it's just, pardon?
Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe. See, Jermaine Defoe, he'd be a great coach.
Yeah.
I think he was under 18s at Tottenham, isn't he still, or is he left now?
I can't remember.
Yeah. But, what about Indian managers or players? Exactly, Leo. You hit the ball on that, right? Maybe the black players don't want to be managed. Well, majority don't, but the majority knows they're not going to get anywhere in the game, and that's the thing about it. I didn't really want to turn this into a racial stream, but
the first still a youth coach at Spurs.
I do know it really makes you think when one of the only good things come out of this podcast that there's many great players out there who will make great coaches, but just why won't people in the game give them a chance? I mean, Leo puts here Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He'll make a great coach. Do you know what I mean? Jermaine Defoe would make a great coach. He would.
Yeah, Robbie Keane's already proven how good of a coach he is because he's coaching that Israeli team, isn't he?
Yeah,
No,
don't talk.
no,
Yeah,
no.
don't
It
even
was
go there.
no,
Don't
it
even
was
go
he.
there.
It was that
Don't
team, but
even
now
go there.
it's that Hungarian team now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ferencváros, the one we
yeah.
beat in the
Don't
Europa League.
even go there. I had my beef when you went there, Robbie Keane. You really disappointed me, man. Really disappointed me. We leave that to our political channel.
Yeah, good idea.
Do get over to Dermo's democratic rants. Do find that Dermot's moved in there. Me and Philip have our own political channel now. We've only got one up there. Chris Powell.
Yeah, it would
Another
be.
that is a good shout. Do you know? Do you think it's? Do you think it's? Do you think in football it's still a big thing in football where um that racism within the game is still very much high, and we're really only tipping at the tip of the iceberg, if you know what I mean, to drive it out of the game.
Yeah, well, we know this every single match with Spurs, really, because Spurs is probably one of the main clubs
I'm not
targeted.
talking about Spurs. I'm talking about
No,
the whole
I know,
game in
but
general.
I know. I'm just saying, like Spurs know it mainly firsthand because of all the
Yeah.
abuse Son gets. So
Yeah.
like Son's got it a ton. So I hands down feel like Yang would get it and stuff like that. Brennan Johnson's constantly got it. I don't even. I think just you can't exterminate it from football, just like you can't from the full world. Really, it's always going to be there, no matter what, no matter how small or minuscule it is. It will always be there, no matter what. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, look, you looked at the podcast, right? Do you agree with Leo that it rarely is? He's just out just to spin more bullshit about trying to take the blame away from himself and trying to blame others? Or do you think that he said this all in his book? Apparently, he had a book out. I didn't even realize he wrote a book about it. Do you think he's not helping the cause of black players becoming black managers?
Honestly, well, we've seen like what he constantly says about him trying. He hopes. You never know; it could have been done to try and get Spurs fans to forgive him because he's always wanted that, hasn't he? He says that literally nearly every interview. He says he wants Spurs fans to forgive him, but then he says stuff the completely opposite to try what ends up making Spurs fans hate him more and stuff like that. But honestly, with him possibly stopping people going for people of color of that said ethnicity as managers, it could affect them really. I think it's 50-50 though with it because it might affect some people's views on that, and then some people will be like, okay, it's one person who's had a negative experience and he still doesn't want to stop talking about it. I'll still go for a manager of that area anyways, because as long as they're good enough, a lot of them will still get hired.
Yeah. So where are we with the Sal Campbell thing? Do you forgive him or not?
I won't. I don't think anybody can ever full on forgive him. Like, yes, you can admit like, oh, it was disappointing to hear and stuff like that. And like, if this is all true, what has come out from him during this interview and stuff like that. Because
No, I do remember that happening. That the court thing was true.
yeah,
I
know.
remember that happening.
I know. I'm saying, but like him saying stuff like, oh, the club were aware of him breaking had his arm broken and stuff like that. That sort of stuff. The steward and all that sort of stuff. Then. And stuff like he says, like what he's always come out with, and he's contradicted himself. I feel like you can agree, like it was a scummy thing to do for him to pull out of that legal battle and stuff like that, no matter what. But I still don't think that'll help him anyways with Spurs fans, due to the fact that he says he's going to sign a contract, then the next week he's saying, "Oh, I'm not going to sign a contract. I'm going to go to Arsenal on a." It was a free as well, wasn't it? It wasn't even like we got any money for him either.
No, he did go for it. And this was the thing with the Harry Kane thing as well. When Harry Kane left, it was nearly coming into the same sort of scenario. But I don't think Harry Kane would have done what Sol Campbell did. Look, on the football point of view, I just want to bring two comments here. I was going, then I got a question about what he said about I want to go on to the Jed Spence interview as well.
Oh, with Rio Ferdinand, what was today?
We're really unfair now. I want to top onto that as well. I wanted to go. That was the first bit of that. So we sort of gather we're not going to forgive the traitorous little git. Whatever he says, he's still a treacherous little git, and we won't forgive you, Sol. I'm sorry. No, nothing else. Just because you went to Arsenal and you're a traitorous little git, so we're not forgiving you. Leo says, "Can I tell you something? Of course, you can tell us anything you want, Leo. You know you can. You know you can say what you want on this channel, as long as it's fair and as long as it's not digging at anyone. But you can say what you like." Says, "Can't tell you something. At youth level clubs want big black fast players now. My nephew plays for Bromley. Wow, big up to your nephew. They don't want little skillful players anymore. That it is true." It is very true. And then you see, yeah, Wayne, he was a coach for England. Colin Powell was, yeah, he was good. Chris Powell, he's good. Didn't he play for Charlton Athletic back in the day? I think Chris Powell.
I think he did it. I think he also
Yeah.
was it Chelsea as well. I'm pretty sure it was one.
I think he played at Chelsea. I'm sure he played for I'm sure he played for Charlton Athletic.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was like from what I've seen of like the highlights and stuff like that. I remember him being at Charlton.
Jed Spence interview. Did you watch it?
Oh, that was hilarious, that one.
It was. What did you think about it? I thought he came across a really sort of mature, very head on shoulders young man that all he cares about is playing football.
He's not being the best he can.
And being the best he can be. And I think this year, I mean, I've always said he's my player of the season this year for Tottenham, Jed Spence. He's already got my vote for player of the season. The Conte thing, he didn't really say a lot about it, did he?
I don't think he really had to though, did he? Because like everybody saw, like the stuff he said was pretty big enough of a picture for it to be drawn and stuff like that. You didn't really have to connect too many dots with it, especially if you are a Spurs fan and stuff like that, and you watched everything unfold and stuff like that. We all noticed what was going on behind the scenes, and let's be honest, it wasn't that hard. Even if you didn't have insiders in the club and stuff like that, you obviously knew what was happening behind the scenes with Conte and the entire squad, no matter who they were.
So, I mean, is it right? I mean, I was watching a podcast earlier this evening, and there's a lot about players going out and enjoying themselves, like Madison and Brendan Johnson to the dance, and there's a few people giving out about Jed Spence doing this interview with Rio Ferdinand. Do you know where you want it? I don't have any problems with Jed Spence doing this interview. I have problems with Madison and Brendan Johnson going out to the darts, by the way. And I did have a go at them at the time. So where you want it? Are you right with players doing interviews?
Yeah, of course. It's part of football in general now. Like just like we saw, if you saw in the interview, if you did watch it, Rio Ferdinand said he would have loved to have this style of Twitter and stuff like that, like social media in his day and age. You'd like, and like we all saw like how he said and stuff like that, and how it would have been amazing for that era of players because all those players hated one another compared to now where it is still like that's big sport. Yeah, I'd probably say I'm fine with them doing it fine with them doing interviews, going out, having nice times out with family, with mates, stuff like that, watching darts, doing whatever, as long as it doesn't affect them on the pitch.
But the Madison and Johnson thing was the bit that got me. They lost that day. And they were seen out enjoying themselves. I get it. Players have to go out and enjoy themselves. I get it to have private lives. But would you not keep in that night thinking we've just lost to Ipswich Town or something like that? And you got a player like Pedro Porro. You got like Jed Spence going home, keeping a low profile, just doing what they have to do to make them better players. That's what you want in your dressing room. I really like Jed Spence. I was very much a case of keeping Jed Spencer. And I'm so pleased for him that he's come out the other side and he stuck two fingers up to everyone who said he was a troublemaker, who said he was this, who that. All he wanted was a bit of an arm around the shoulder and to say, I know you can do it. And he can play neither side of the fence. I think it's great. I think fair play to him. And he's, as I said, he's my player of the season. He really has got a redemption story. I mean, Leo's going, two questions here for Leo. Liverpool will lose loads of free transfers this season. Yeah, we're looking at Salah
Trent's already going, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's going to happen. Salah and Van Dijk haven't signed new contracts yet. So there are two big players that could go. Leo, yeah, go on.
That's that's their three best players in their entire team, because we see like Robertson's unfortunately downhill digressing quite rapidly from what we've seen compared to like last year, how we saw how good he was and stuff like that. But this year he's just been on a downhill spiral no matter what. It's just like he can't, like, the more matches you see, the more he looks like he's being exposed and stuff like that. And it just, you almost feel sorry for the guy with how quickly of a downfall he's having. It's a bit like Sonny at times. Like if Sonny plays a full 90, you unfortunately see his flaws now with him getting older, with his pace not being as there as it used to be to cover up first things, unfortunately. But Sonny deserves to have this sort of downfall because he, like in a graceful way, and nobody call it. Well, you can call it out, but not abuse him for it, because he's how loyal of a servant he's been.
Yeah. So where are we now with Jed Spencer and the whole then? Do you think like the boy's done good there? He really has stuck two fingers up to everyone, hasn't he?
Oh, of course.
Said, do you know what? Do you know, I'm going to do what I do. We've got Leo saying here, I'm watching the Wales match. Keep an eye on Johnson. He hasn't done much. How do you get the best out of Brennan Johnson?
Honestly, that's tough. Even if you do, I'd say the only way you can get the full best out of him was like think of like how it was during those Forest days and stuff like that. And the person he had behind him was obviously Jed Spence to cover up those defensive flaws, what kept allowing Johnson to bomb up and down the pitch with his pace. So I feel like the reason why Johnson was able to have such a good season as he did. I'm not saying he's not having a good season, because, like, statistics-wise, he's having a great season, but statistics, unfortunately, aren't everything in football. But stats-wise, he's the best player on the entire team with how many goals and assists he's got.
I'm Johnson's biggest fan. I mean, I love Brendan Johnson. I know he can come good. He's got the talent. He's got the temperament to become a really good player. It's all about him. And maybe he's one of these late developers, and I get people don't like him. I get people are slating him. And yeah, I get frustrated with him too. But deep down in my gut, I know there's a good player there. And it's very easy, everyone, to call him a tap-in merchant. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's a skill within itself to be there at the right time, at the right place, to put the ball in the back of the net. It really is. It really is a trait in itself. So would you move Brendan Johnson to a striker role? Do you think that's where he may end up?
Honestly, it depends on the managers, doesn't it, really? Because let's be honest, if this takeover does happen in the summer, which it's likely seeming to be, isn't it? Like the takeover seems to be happening as soon as the season's over, which means Ange will probably end up getting the sack, a new manager will come in. So
we don't know that yet, Boris. We don't know that yet.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If we're going off like what happened with Newcastle and it's Staveley doing like the takeover style again, they wanted their own manager, didn't they? So
we do know the takeover. I've even heard today, the dates I got on that the takeover is still happening. You know, it will happen.
Yeah, and I think I saw something and heard something that Staveley wants her own director of football coming in. I'm pretty sure.
That's another question that I'm going to get on to very quickly. We are stuck to a time limit tonight, guys. So I know it's a bit short. So I do apologise. It's a question I'm going to ask tomorrow night, because we're doing the show tomorrow. And I know can Spurs have a great end to the season? But director of football wise, I'm going to go through some of the comments and then we will end off on the director of football because I have my own sort of thoughts on this. I just said, oh yeah, here we go. Leo says he scored goals, so he's in the right place. He needs to improve his crossing. That I agree with. Also, Leo, I don't know if it's me or do you get what I'm saying that he needs to improve taking on his man. You look at Odegaard, who takes on his man, he gets in there, he crosses the ball. He gets you off your feet. Brennan Johnson, gets so far and then he just has a mental block. It's like me going down to the shop and coming back and Mrs. Tron says to me, have you got the washing up liquid? No, I haven't because I forgot to get it, which has happened on more than one occasion, believe me. And I have to go back down again. That's Brendan Johnson. He gets to a point and he has a mental block of what do I do now? So we all slate him off. We all slated Gareth Bale off. People seem to forget this. We absolutely slated Gareth Bale off when he was left back. All one of them sold. Harry Redknapp comes in, moves his position. Bale becomes the best player in the world. Now, I'm not saying Brendan Johnson's going to become the best player in the world. I'm not saying he's not going to become another Gareth Bale. But does it need a different approach with Brendan Johnson? And maybe, is he a striker? Maybe he is this number 10 or this number 9. That is his position because he does time and time again pop up in the right place at the right time to bang the balls in the back of the net. And believe me, that is not an easy trait. You look at players did that in the past. You look at Gary Lineker. You look at Gerd Muller back in the day. You look at players that have gone past, or even now, players of the past 10 years that do that are in the 6-yard area, and that's their job, to bang it in the back of the net. So, look, for me, I'm going to continue to support Brendan Johnson as much as people slate me for it. And I think he will prove right. He will come good at the end of the day. Leo said, I just said that. Did you? If you just said that, then fair play to you. So did I. Aside from the odd goal now, and Johnson is dog shit. Now, this is Wayne Bonner speaking the truth. I mean, he doesn't hold back our Wayne. He doesn't. He starts the show on a very kind, even, he just puts the feelers out. And then as the show goes on, he decides, you know what? I'm going in full pelt. This is now him going in full pelt. He's dog shit in a Spurs shirt. Holds himself back, but looks... I think Wayne, believe me, he will become a good player. You're going to love him next season. You will love him. Wayne said Johnson isn't physically or strong enough to play as a striker, playing behind or alongside the striker, perhaps. Maybe it's a number 10. Maybe so. Big up to the assemble. Evening, everyone. Evening. Hope you're doing well. Leo said he needs to do the Bale Wayne. Yeah, he does. Yeah, I agree. See, Leo agrees with me. See, Leo's a man after my own heart. Big up, Lee. And Wayne said, yes, Wayne straight to the point and needs to do something. And then Wayne goes, damn, Dermot sussed me out. You do when you come in at the start of the stream, nice and nice. And then as the stream goes on, you thought you get a little more eager, a little more eager, and then suddenly, bang, you put it in. But I love it. Keep doing it. And Leo's just rolling around on the floor laughing. Either Brendan Johnson's fell in his arse because he's missed a cross, or that England have won 2 games in a row and you can't believe a German is helping them. Look, even Ireland have won 2 games in the world. Damn that. Look, last question before we finish off the stream. Boris, director of football. Look, there's rumors going around that Paratici is off to AC Milan. There is a lot of calls. I know I was speaking to somebody yesterday who told me a lot of the hierarchy will be sacked in the summer. And it's really not Andrew's fault. You can't blame him for everything. Does Tottenham need a restructuring of their recruitment office, and who would you bring in, and why?
Well, the one I'd bring in, of course, will be Fabio, of course, because, well, we've seen what he did, but unfortunately, as you said, he's off. From what it seems like, he's off to AC Milan. But honestly, I'd probably go. there's not really many good director of footballs, is there? Really, like, good director of football skill. Ashworth, he's hit or miss though, isn't he now? Like, we don't. Like, yes, he did well at Newcastle, but Newcastle also had like tons of money, like FU money, didn't they? Really, to throw around to whatever they wanted. Yes, they had to stick him with FFP, but they was able to just blow 70 million on Isaac. Yes, I can't really say much since we blew 60 million on Solanke, and he's not performing at the best like I know he can do, unfortunately, right now. But honestly, I'd probably just gut the entire scouting department, gut the entire recruitment department, gut everything really. Like I was about to say the medical department, but that's been gutted like 3-4 times, hasn't it? And everything seems to still be happening. What shouldn't be happening anyways, which is I just don't know what. Is it like, is Spurs just cursed when it comes to injuries? Like, no matter what, we always get 3-4 series major players always end up getting injured for like a good quarter of the season.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I got a little gift for everyone. So let's hope this works. So there you go. I have now gifted 5 memberships to people. And the 5 people that I have got was Leo's got a membership, Carl's got a membership, We Are Spurs have got a membership, Steve D's got a membership, and Joe's got a membership. So there you go, guys. You've all been given memberships as a little gift from me to you guys for turning up tonight and joining me. So there you go. So Leo, you've got one, man. Carl, you've got one. We Are Spurs TV, you've got one as well. Steve D's got one as well. Joe's got one as well. Leo's got one as well. And there you go. So enjoy their memberships, guys. It's well worth it. You know, I have to give back to what goes into. You put a lot into the channel. It's my way of gifting you stuff. Well, guys, that is it for tonight. I had to keep it to an hour, just to prove a couple of points. Also, because Tequila's going live in about a few minutes, going to shoot a load of aliens, and me and Carl have been doing quite well at that, shooting loads of aliens. But do enjoy your memberships. We've got a new show coming out. We're doing a couple of member shows live next week. We're doing the predicted lineup live, and we're doing Ange Talk Spurs live as members only shows. So they're going to be new live shows. Boris, where can people find you, sir?
Yeah, you can either find me on this great channel, either speaking or in the comment, or in the live stream comments, in the chat. Or you can find me on Twitter, also known as X, at Boris the Spurs, where I discuss Spurs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, look, we have dropped a few subs because of the shenanigans that have been happening over the last couple of days. I'm not going to mention any more about it. I said what I said last night. And I did put up a short as well today about it. To be fair to you, it has hurt me a lot because we all work hard in this channel, and we know the people that support us and support this channel, and you're still here and you mean everything to us. All your members, all your subscribers, you mean a hell of a lot to us. And yeah, of course I can. Of course I can, Leo. If I can find it. Are you good at finding links, are you?
Yeah, I'll find it for you so you can...
Yeah, it's the play pouch.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, that's all right. I found it. He's already on the Git. He's already just started.
Has he just gone live now?
He's just gone live now. So I'm just going to find his...
Demo private chat for you, Matt. There you are.
Okay. I've just said I'm just finishing. So he knows. Oh, dear. Right. He's done it. That's all right. It's been done for me. It's been done for me. Thank you so much indeed, Carl. Done it, Dermo. Oh, there we go. It's a play pouch. They're good over there. Listen, but look.
And Johnson just got an offside goal anyways.
Yeah, don't listen to all the bullshit that's been talked about. Stay with us here. Stay with us here on THFC till the day. We will bring you the best content going. We aren't going nowhere. We're going to continue to fight our way, fight above our weight. We're a little channel, but we're like a little Irish. We are an Irish channel here. We will fight all our way back. We don't give up. You know, we will never give up. And if a bully thinks he can bully us channel, then they got a damn welcome coming, because this channel will bully back. On that bombshell, I shouldn't have said any more, but I did. On that bombshell, thank you all for watching. I like that in Dermo we trust. Cheers, Carl. Big up the Lee as well. Big up Lee. Lee, we've got to get you one in the next week or so. Sort out a column. I want to get you one, especially on to Big Up, because I want to do a show over there. Please do go over to Big Up as well. He says, you might be a small channel, but you have the biggest, highest, nicest community I've come across. Well, thank you so much. That actually means a hell of a lot to me and the guys here. It will mean a hell of a lot to the guys here. It really does mean that. Lee, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Boris, do you want anything to Lee? Because that's a really lovely comment to make, actually.
Yeah, it is. Well, big up Lee. Thank you for the comment. And as Dema said, we'd love to have you on here to discuss Spurs football in general, what international football, club football.
Yeah, hit that QR code above Boris as well for Match Day Magic. Also hit the link below for our channel sponsor, Private Internet Access. I'm sorry, I haven't got time to do a show tonight. I have to get off because tequila's on. I don't want to get into trouble with tequila. On that bombshell, thank you so much, Lee. And big up, Lee. I'm free this weekend. I'm free the weekend after this one. Good man. We'll get you on Big Up, or we'll get you on a watch along or a show before Lee. Big up to everyone. Thank you all for watching. We're back tomorrow night at 8 with the title show, Can Spurs end the season on a high? Let's get piped for the rest of the season. Let's get up for the end of the season. Can we win the Europa League? And can we end the season on a high? Whatever we do, enjoy your evening. Come on, you Spurs. We're going to do it. And the kids we trust.